Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ambassador's Lounge. You all are aware of the situation of women in Afghanistan. It seems that after the withdrawal of US troops and NATO troops, the Taliban have started a crusade, we can say, against their own women. The latest action that they have taken is they have prevented women, or they have banned women from working in NGOs. Earlier, they also banned women from attending the universities. Now, these are few steps which they have taken to diminish the role of Afghan women in their society. Earlier, as you all know, secondary education was banned for the women. They are not allowed in the parks or in public places. They are harassed about their clothing. When they go out, they need to be chaperoned. There has to be a male with them. And the Ministry of Women Affairs has also been abolished. And this would prevent political participation of women in Afghanistan. So these are some of the things which they have taken, drastic actions which they have taken, and the international community is aghast. They have tried to reason with with the Taliban about this, but it seems that the Taliban are not ready to listen or pay heed to the views of the international community. To discuss this situation, I am joined with my colleague, Mr. Asif Durrani. Asif, welcome.
Thank you, Imran.
Asif, first, very simple question. What do the Taliban have against the women?
Imran, I think that shows their woman syndrome. In fact, they don't want women to be an equal citizen of the country. Already Afghanistan is a conservative society. By now, almost 80-85% people live in the countryside. And Taliban are mostly from the countryside. And for them, if you look at the education ministers, Afghan education minister Nida
Muhammad
Nadim's statement, it's a bizarre statement telling that they were going to universities as if they are going to a marriage ceremony with their dresses. He was criticizing their dressing. And secondly, he said that women should not study subjects like agriculture or engineering. Again, a bizarre statement. I mean, it does not appeal to anyone who is sane, and he would, in fact, endorse this action. So this is unfortunate. This is one of, again, you can say, would be our darkest era in Afghanistan's history, because they want to interpret their own brand of Islam, or their own brand of culture, Afghan culture, as part of the Islamic tenets, which is absolutely wrong.
Asif, you have been a student of Afghanistan culture, language, history, everything. Now, Taliban are pushing a narrative that women rights is something which is Western phenomena, and it is not applicable to Afghan culture. How far is this? Does this make sense?
It is laughable, as if they live in an island. Afghanistan is a signatory to the Women's Rights Convention. All human rights conventions, the previous regimes, they signed it. So the question is, those are the sovereign guarantees which Afghanistan gave. Taliban are now, in fact, a government. They are not going to stay forever. The question is, if they think that they will rule the country forever, I think they are harshly mistaken.
Plus, they are isolating themselves from the international community. They need humanitarian assistance. They need help of international community in the economy, development of economy. But these policies of theirs, it is pushing the international community away from them.
Absolutely right. Because half of population, if you cut it off from your national building, so what will be left? Already Afghanistan's socio-economic indicators are at the lowest.
Yeah.
And if you now isolate women from that or pull out women from that, so it would further push the country to dark ages.
Now, there are two things which lately they have done. One is banning the women from going to the universities, and the second is banning them from participating in the NGOs, employment in the NGOs. Now, as far as the education is concerned, Asif, it's very strange. They come and they say women are not allowed in the universities. But it is their leaders, people like Suhail Shaheen. They have their children, their daughters studying in schools in Pakistan, in Doha, in English medium schools. And I was reading that Suhail Shaheen's elder daughter, she also plays football. Isn't this hypocrisy? Where is Islam then?
I think there is also a division among the Taliban ranks. Among other issues, this women's education is also because in the past few months, some of the Afghan Taliban leaders, they have been issuing statements in favor of continuing education. At that point of time, secondary school girls were banned from attending the school. So now the university students, they have been banned. There's one question. If you don't allow women to become doctors,
Exactly.
so tomorrow, what will happen? If there are no female doctors, who will attend to the women?
So,
Male doctors?
no one is, why can't they think?
This is the $1 million question. This is something, and then they present themselves as a role model of Islam. So if this is the role model, then it's a horrible model.
Are they using their women to bargain with the international community?
That could be. That's a very brilliant question, and this has been. I think they have been doing that. Earlier, they were their excuse was that look, we don't have the resources. In their Taliban previous avatar before 9/11, they banned that we don't have resources to allow the girls because we want them to be educated separately. But now this time in Taliban 2.0, they themselves in fact had given signals that they have learned from their past mistakes and they would not commit those mistakes, including the rights of women. Those were the statements already on record. And but gradually, they have in fact been harsh on women. Initially, then they in fact put a ban on secondary schools. And then if the girls are banned from secondary schools, how they are going to higher education?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So this is what they tried. But by and large, when you tell them, when you look at them, then these are actually repressive measures. These are something measures of the dark ages.
Now, Asif, is the Taliban? First of all, it's not a monolithic organization, Taliban, right? It's a group, different groups,
Correct.
which have got together. Now, at the top, who is making these decisions, or is there unity as far as these decisions are concerned within the Taliban,
unity.
or is there a conflict between those who see the reality and those who are far from the reality?
There is no unity. Right now, in fact, the commanders, they are calling the shots, and they come from the rural areas. The leadership, which in fact was negotiating with the Americans, was quite urbane. They were living in Pakistan, and then
Doha,
they were traveling,
enjoying the life.
And since 2013, the Doha office, in fact, exposed them to the rest of the world. And otherwise, on table talk, they are quite reasonable. But when it comes to the women's issues, this is something bizarre, one can say the least. that their logic is absolutely, from the Islamic point of view, is even un-Islamic.
Yes, absolutely. Now, they are banning the women from working in NGOs. That is going to impair the ability of these NGOs to help them. Now, these MPOs and these NGOs are there to help health field, child care, medical, water, food, everything. Now, these are going to severely impair the ability of these.
Already they have suspended their
Many of
functions.
them have suspended the activities.
Almost 3,000 Afghan women who were working with these NGOs and UN system, even UN system that has suspended.
Yes.
Reason is that they were working for the women health, they were working for children, malnutrition and other. Now just imagine that 5 million children are malnourished, and 24 million Afghans are below the poverty line, and they don't have 2 square meals a day, and then they are now suffering from harsh winters. And now if they want to further isolate themselves, just imagine what will happen. And then people would be forced to migrate. And then immediately the idea comes that they will come to Pakistan, because this is what has happened. And then perhaps they will go to Iran.
You will be suffering again.
So they will be suffering, it would be their suffering, and then we have to suffer.
Now, Asif, coming to the same thing, what can the international community do? What can the Muslim community do? Now, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Pakistan, Malaysia, they have all condemned this action of the Taliban. What else can they do? OIC has condemned it.
Well, in a civilized manner, this is what you can do. The other harsh measures could be more sanctions. Even the immediate neighbors should stop doing business with Afghanistan.
But sanctions, do you think, will work on them?
Oh, but the question is,
Nida Muhammad Nadeem says, government will not change its mind on girls' access to education even if they drop an atomic bomb on us. We are ready for sanctions by international community.
Well, if they have decided to commit suicide, they have been doing suicide attacks already. So, in fact, it is the way of destroying the Afghan nation. This is what they are determined to do. This is what I can say.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching our discussion on the situation in Afghanistan at the moment because of the Taliban's actions to marginalize and sideline the women. Now, from Taliban to Taliban, it's a story of despair and hope. They need to understand that women are an important and an integral part of the society, of any society. And for a country like Afghanistan, which is already in economic morass, they need the participation of the 50% of their population, that is women. Thank you for watching. Take care. Good night.